Welcome back to Coldtake podcast on BSN. This is episode 11, and we are back with the BHL. I'm joined by Chokington, Alfresco, and Brandon. So, what's up, guys?
What's up?
So
Hi.
we got a lot to cover here on this edition of Coldtake. First and foremost, if you haven't known already, the BHL is returning. And we'll get into why and what's happening, what happened to the IMHL and things like that in a little bit. Um, Also, the season or the preseason just started and the draft just concluded a few days ago, so we'll talk about that. And other things as well. So, uh, I guess we'll start off with why the BHL is back and everything like that. So does anyone want to get into that a little bit?
Sure. So, originally we were planning on having IMHL Season 2, but the newer data pack was found by
Jets.
Jets, I believe, yeah. So, we were planning on making this BHL Season 7, and then Flashee came back and gave us the actual Season 7 data pack.
Right. So, initially, we weren't gonna call it BHL yet. Before it was actually called the National Minecraft Hockey Federation, with a slightly outdated version of the data pack, which was used in, I believe, the second MIHF tournament before the BHL ended. Or no, it was used in season 6. It was not used in MIHF. But then Flashee, as we all know, he came back during the IMHL finals, and that night he granted us the latest version of the BHL data pack. And at that point, we decided to just rename it to the BHL and continue where the BHL left off. So instead of referring it as Season 1, we're going now into Season 7, and all the old awards are coming back. Any past statistics and stuff like that, that's all now valid again. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. And we just felt it was a better direction than going with the IMHL. So,
Not to mention there were changes in management.
Yeah, I'll get into that right now. So, there's initially it was Youppi, me, Jets, Berto, and Lynch. Oh, and Ginger as well. As vice commissioners, Youppi's the commissioner, the main commissioner, but Ginger, before the league started, stepped down, and now he's a helper. But yeah, so the current management team now is Youppi, myself, Chokington, Jets, Berto, and Lynch. So yeah, that's the big management change right there. Flashee is still helping out here and there as a helper, and same with Pike. He's a helper as well, and Ginger, obviously, as I mentioned before. So yeah, some big management changes. So to start out the new league or the new season. We also have all new media. We have new logo, and all brand new teams except for the Whalers, which are returning, the only team to return. But um, they didn't have the same exact team as before. So yeah, I'll go over, actually, if you're not already familiar, all the teams as well, because as I said, we have 4 new teams, 5 in total. So the first team is the Nova Scotia Huskies, which are returning from the IMHL and will be the only team to come back from the IMHL. The Houston Bandits, the Seattle Golden Eagles, and the Fort Worth Jets. And they all have, there's a minor league as well. We'll get into that actually as well later on. But that's pretty much all you need to know about the switch over from IMHL to BHL. So just to clarify one more time, IMHL is not coming back, but the BHL is returning for season 7. So that's all I gotta say for that part. Anyone else want to add anything onto that?
No, not really. I
There's
think
not a
you
lot
pretty much
to discuss
clarified.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much went over everything. So now I guess we'll go into the MIHF third annual tournament, which went on after the IMHL finals with the new data pack. So someone else can take the lead on that category, if they please.
All right. So this year for the MIHF, or this past year, we had a few new teams. The 2 teams that stayed were USA and Canada. But there were some new teams added, such as Team Portugal, Team Switzerland, and Team South Africa. I think the MIHF peaked players for like BHL totals, which is really good. Now going into the preliminary games in the MIHF, the Team Portugal nearly went perfect. I think went 3-1, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe second was South Africa.
I think we.
Surprise for everyone.
I don't know if it was us or Canada. I can't remember.
No, it was you guys.
It was you guys.
And then third was Canada, which didn't really surprise me, but they still placed for the playoffs. And the fourth and final team to make it into the playoffs was Team Switzerland, because they beat Team USA out, I think,
By a point.
by a point, yeah. After Switzerland had a rough preliminary games, only winning against Portugal, the toughest team, which is really strange.
Yeah, I know, right? I think Portugal won it all, but it didn't really surprise anyone. South Africa actually made it to the finals, and Canada and Switzerland battled out in the bronze medal game, and Switzerland actually came out on top of that game. So it was Portugal, South Africa in silver, and Switzerland in bronze. And it's kind of disappointing, I'd say, for both Team USA and Canada, as it's a pretty embarrassing showing for both of these, like vintage, I guess, like teams that will, I guess, always be there, or like are expected to do well. So, but I gotta give it to South Africa and all the other teams. I'm not gonna. They played really well, and they deserve to win. So that's all I gotta say from my point of view on it. Especially props to South Africa for going that far, because usually the players on the roster aren't regarded as like people who like would try that often, but they actually played very well, and it shows. So, yeah, I say it was a success for MIHF once again. So and it'll be back next season as well. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I am too. Now let's actually get into the BHL stuff. So, this time around we wanted, because we know we would have a bigger player base coming in than when the BHL ended. Because of our, I guess, approach to media and marketing. So one of our big things was having a trailer, and that currently just reached 300 views on BSN. I just checked earlier today. So that was a big success for us. Put together a really nice trailer. So on top of that, we got Instagram marketing and all that stuff. So because of that, we knew we'd have a lot more rookies and new players coming into the league. And I wanted to emphasize directions that rookies could take to get better and to improve. and to like have a shot at the league, because I think the first time in BHL that wasn't really emphasized too much. So because of that, we did a scouting combine in Winnipeg, and as well as the draft was announced to be in Hartford for the first time. So, does anyone want to talk about, I guess, the combine? Or I guess I should talk about it because I kind of organized it. And then Alfresco ran a second combine for more skills-related tests. So it was held in the old Winnipeg Ice Caps arena, and it was just a bunch of round-robin scrimmages with not, I wouldn't say random teams, but there wasn't any correlation between the teams. It was just kind of what was fair. So that gave a lot of people a chance to kind of, all the GMs came out. I think there's a representative from each team that came out to watch, and also we got to produce draft rankings because of that. So it was a great chance for rookies and players who are still new to the game to kind of show off to the GMs in anticipation for the draft. So, Alfresco, do you want to talk about what you did in your combine on a few
Yeah,
days
so
after?
basically instead of like scrims, we basically ran more type of combine events they usually see like at like a NHL or NFL combine or like any other like basic league where it's like, like in the NFL they do like multiple skills tests that are not like an actual scrimmage. That's basically what we did here. I think we did multiple events that were like, I think a full ice sprint with the puck. I think we did like a 1T. We did a 5-hole stopper. We did like a figure 8 around two, I don't know, people, I guess, technically, or like fences, as you would call them. We also had some like more fun events, like best fighter, which is kind of just for fun and to like help the rookies out and like make them feel like it was a cool event. I think there was also a shootout challenge at the end as well, and that was basically it for that combine. But I feel like it went really well. Most of the players, it was pretty long, and I respect everybody who stayed to the end from the beginning. But yeah, I think it was pretty good overall.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I think it was 2.5 hours long.
damn. I mean, that was kind of the same thing as the first combine. So, the first combine was like, I think actually 2.5, so around the same length. So now we'll go into the actual draft, which as I said earlier, was held in Hartford for this season. So, with the first overall pick, I guess, Brandon, do you want to go through all the picks first, like the draft order?
Yeah, sure. All right. So with the first pick, it was a pretty obvious one. Everyone already saw it kind of coming. It was Exonaut, or aka Akuzo. I don't see any really shocker in that. What about you? What do you guys think?
You
No,
should probably mention the team that drafted them.
Oh, the Huskies. Did I not mention that? My bad.
It's kind of important.
Yeah, the Nova Scotia Huskies have selected Akuzo. So their team, when they selected Akuzo, would be Youppi, Jets, and Akuzo.
I don't think anyone has any surprise there that Akuzo's going first overall. He's regarded as probably the best player in the BHL for good reason. So, yeah, I got no thoughts there.
Yeah. All right. So with the second pick, the Houston Bandits or Chokington's team selected Jam. It was there's a lot of people you could pick at number 2. Number 1 was kind of obvious, but at number 2 you have more options. I don't see any problem with the Jam pick though. What do you guys think?
I mean, they already have a goalie, so there was no point in picking Ram. They could have picked Brandon, but they opted to go with Jam, which I guess is fair. They're kind of the equal in my book, as far as like scoring goes. Well, I guess not in my book, but in most people's eyes, they're around the same. So
With yeah. So with the third overall selection, the Seattle Golden Eagles, or TJ's team, selected Ramsosig, 3-time Vezina winner. They needed a goalie. I don't see any problem with this pick either.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's a
mean,
good
you can, but nothing's gone wrong of yet. So I think it's pretty obvious that this was going to happen, no matter what. Because considering
hard.
they needed a goalie, and
And-
there's most teams already have like goalies like pre-signed or GMs per se. So,
Right.
or I guess they not really, but like 40% of the teams have goalies that are pre-signed and GMs basically.
Yeah, I mean, I just it's really hard to score on Ram. Everyone's struggled with him. He averages like 1 to 2 goals allowed, even when he's getting like rippers on him during scrims mostly. Yeah, so the Golden Eagles, and then number 3 would have Lynch, TJ, and Ramsosig now. And with the 4th, all right, so now we go to the 4th overall selection. The Fort Worth Jets selected me, or Brandon.
So actually,
Yeah.
I had a really hard time figuring out who the Jets were gonna pick because that's one of the picks I didn't really know. I kind of knew Hartford's pick. I think everyone kind of did. But I struggled to figure out because they could have gone with Obtuse or Brandon, which they did, or Peepsero, a bunch of other people that were still on the board. So I couldn't really figure out who they're gonna pick. So while it's kind of like a surprise, at the same time it's not because Brandon's one of the best power forwards in the game. So and I think it would have been a crime if he didn't go first. If he didn't go first round, so yeah.
My opinion, I think Brandon's easily a top 3 forward in BHL history.
Oh, definitely, I think so as well.
Terrible pick. No, I'm just kidding. Terrible, man. Literally worst pick on the board.
For real, bro.
Brandon's
We-
washed, bro.
Pretty sure he plays in the minors now.
Yeah, facts.
So with the 5th overall pick, the Hartford Whalers, which Alfresco's the GM of that team, they selected Peepsero, who's banned now.
Yay. So much fun.
Yeah.
He lasted a good 2 days on the team.
Yeah, and about like 1.5 periods. It's pretty good pick, to be honest. Steele getting 1.5 periods out of Peepsero.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. It was a good pick at the time, but obviously now it's not very good.
Aside from all the whole band thing, I do think if Peep were like still here, he'd still be a good pick because he has a lot of raw skill. Like he doesn't practice very much, but he just has a lot of raw skill and scoring ability. So I think that's pretty valuable. So minus all the whole band thing, I do think it was still a good pick for Hartford.
Yeah, I think he schemes around the Hartford team, and I'm pretty sure that's the only team he really wanted to go to. But yeah, it was a good pick at the time, but then he got banned last night. So
At the time of making this, that is.
at the time we're making this, which is day after a Wednesday. And yeah,
Day after Wednesday.
It's Wednesday
Yes.
today, bro.
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, today's Wednesday.
Day after Wednesday.
The 17th of June. There.
Okay, so with the 6th overall pick, which was originally the Whalers pick, but if I'm not mistaken, they traded it to first they traded it to the Bandits, and then the Bandits traded it to the Golden Eagles, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And then the Golden Eagles probably could be one of the biggest steals of the draft, speaking how much upside he has, and Obtuse Boy.
I think this is a great pick. A little biased.
I think it was a very good pick.
Bias.
The one thing that I kind of didn't really understand is Golden Eagles were lacking on offense, and their defense was kind of already on the upside. Maybe they're talking like Emdrevel, but Obtuse is still a very good pick.
I think Obtuse was the obvious pick at 6, considering he dropped that low.
Yeah.
Could have been
Yeah.
top 5.
If he didn't,
I don't know why the pick. It was kind of clown move there by Chokington. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, Chokington did get his part out of the deal as well. And TJ kind of moved up as well. Got a good player with it, but that comes with sacrifice and trading away your lower picks, and that kind of really sacrifices your depth sometimes. So, I mean, he got the player he wanted. He got a good player, but will it hurt him in the long run? Probably not, but we'll see.
I think Obtuse, if he didn't get picked by the Jets, it was someone me and Lynch were looking at for a long time, and by a lot of teams, he's regarded as probably like either a first line or second line defenseman, and we were looking for that second line defenseman. And I think it was a good pick in the long run.
I think Obtuse could be a top line defenseman.
He will be. Eventually he will be. But
I'm saying right now he could be. That's just my take.
Yeah. He's definitely gonna be like probably a top 3 defender at some point in his career. He probably already is now. Depends how you look at it. But yeah, I think even though we had to sacrifice some lower picks, I think we got it. I think it was worth it in the end. So, or it will be worth it. So that's just my opinion. I made the trade, so whatever. Also, I should mention that Youppi's here. He's a representative from the Huskies. Feel free to chime in anytime, Youppi, whenever you want to represent the Huskies, I guess. But
Well, my mother was vacuuming when I first joined the call, but I think she's done now.
Okay,
So I guess I can talk.
Okay, so with the so we're done with Obtuse. So now with the 7th overall selection in the BHL draft, the Fort Worth Jets took M. Dravel.
I think a great value pick here. The Huskies are probably mad at that pick because I know they really wanted him. If I'm gonna be real though,
Apparently still molding.
I am molding.
If I'm gonna be real though, I think M. Dravel is probably a rental on that team because I think he's
coming home.
He's coming to the Huskies next season. I think it's inevitable. Which is why it's actually one of the reasons why I didn't pick him. But he's still gonna be one of the top upcoming forwards in the league. He's probably if he was in the entry draft, he'd be probably the top prospect. So, and he has he's probably the biggest upside aside from Obtuse. So, he dominated in the JMHL, and he's already working his way up. He's now a major leaguer, and he can keep up pretty well. So.
Okay, so I'm going to probably try to give my input on M. Dravel since I've pretty much been on a team with him since he joined the league. I'd say that M. Dravel probably has the highest ceiling out of anybody in the draft compared to how good he is now. Because he's only been playing this for one season, and the season he played in was in juniors. So, if anything, the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah. You just got to see how he matches up against, because obviously you can tear up minor league players. I just want to see how he does against, the best play, the major league guys. I think he'll do well, but, it's always an unknown.
I'd say he's definitely a solid second line forward right now. He can score some goals. You don't expect him to score 2 to 3 goals a game, obviously, but he still puts up 1 goal. Maybe he'll score a clutch goal late in the game, but and he's a solid player with a good back check, so you can't really go wrong with him anyway.
I like because I'm on his team. I feel like he has the best scheme around him because he's most likely going to be playing with Blazy, so that helps a lot. Because me and Rojo probably will be aligned. And then we did a couple scrims and he scored a goal every single scrim and sometimes in clutch moments. And he doesn't really make that many mistakes. He's getting better as the days go by.
So, in conclusion, I think he's going to be one of the best forwards. Would you consider him a power forward or a two-way?
Two-way, easily.
We'll see how his game, if he sticks with that or he switches over to more a Brendan-style player. I don't know. He might, but that's just my opinion.
So moving on to the 8th overall pick, which was traded from Seattle. to Houston to me, and I picked Flashee at 8.
Yeah,
I
you
think
want to explain this one here? Actually, I'm
I
curious.
do. So we kind of needed a defenseman to play with either Berto or Jam because they're two heavily offensive players. And I think Flashee is he can play really good defense, especially with a really offensive player like Berto. And you can't really go wrong with him at 8 because some of the players past that shouldn't have been drafted that early. So I think it was a pretty good pick.
Yeah, Flashy's got some good intellect as well. He's kind of aware. When I used to play with him, he was always a forward, so him adjusting to defense, I'm curious to see how that works out for him. If he can make the adjustment, I think he will be able to. But he always played as a forward, so now he's making that switch. So it's always a scale, I guess. Like if he's gonna adjust good. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
In my opinion, Flashee, people had him going like 13 to 16 because he's not really going to get better at the game because he's been playing since season 1. But I do feel like he does fit the Bandits game, and especially putting him on the line with Berto. The thing is, Flashee's an offensive that likes to play defense, and Berto's a defensive player that likes to play offense. So, just kind of works.
It's gonna be an interesting, I guess, lineup for the Bandits.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess that leads us to the 9th overall selection, which if I check right here,
It's 8.
which
It was a steal at 9.
pretty good pick. He's gonna have to serve he's gonna have a 2-game suspension to start off though.
Ake, very good playmaker. A lot of people said that they just picked Ake because, Hartford's team is all the MCHL players, but I would still have taken him at 9 if I were them. Very good overall player. He could pretty much do anything on the ice. So I've 1v1'd him a few times, and he's a very solid player. If anyone else would like to give their opinion.
Yeah, I think he's a very good player. He fits the Hartford theme. There's been some rumors, but I don't think they're going to happen that he might leave, but I feel like if he stays, he would be a very good addition to the Hartford Whalers, and Hartford needs all the players they could have right now after Peepstar got banned.
I really do hope he stays because he's going to turn into a really good player. He's got high upside, and I'd say the only reason
things are not looking so good.
Yeah.
I hate to break it, but
it's
okay.
I hope he stays, basically, but he should.
So moving on to the 10th overall pick was Pike. Youppi, you want to explain that?
All right. So basically, we were hoping Emderville would fall to 10. It was unlikely, but that was what we wanted. But when he didn't, we kind of had to think of a backup plan, and we think Pike was a good pick. Obviously, there's controversy with the commissioner's team getting the player that found out how to almost break the game. But I mean, if it's probably going to get banned anyway, even then, he is still a very solid player, and he knows how to win like he did on Michigan. So overall, a good player. Probably going to be our second line defenseman, either EXO or Blaney. I don't know. We'll see. Or second line forward. Yeah, good player.
Yes, certainly.
Anyone else?
I would say with this whole piking thing, we should probably talk about that. Whether it gets disallowed or not. I feel like he didn't go higher because if you can shut that down, then he's kind of like average, I guess. Not average, but I wouldn't say he's better than some other players that went higher. If you can shut down the pike, he's still very smart and got a lot of offense. He got a lot of skills, but I hope he continues to get better. I think it was for the Huskies' sake. He already fits into that scheme because he played in Portugal, and he fit really well with Youppi. And I think for the Huskies, that's probably where he would fit best at anyone. So I think he's gonna stay there for a long time.
Yeah. Like I don't think he'll stay for a long time. I think he might leave next season just due to the fact that the Huskies are kind of low on cap, and they don't really have a lot to splurge. But if the Huskies could find a way to re-sign him, I think he's a very serviceable second line forward.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So with the 11th overall pick, the Huskies drafted Botany, a goaltender.
Yeah, I gotta explain myself with
I
this
was-
one.
Yeah, I have an opinion.
All right, so basically, the whole pick with Botmy is, well, I know who Botmy is. He has a very, very high ceiling, in my opinion. And only reason I picked him so early was because I thought the Bandits were gonna take him, and we were kind of worried about that because he was our future goalie. We thought so. We had already been training him, and I know Brandon had practiced with him and said he was already a very good goalie for playing for his first time. So we just wanted to make sure we got him, make sure he was safe with us. And yeah, I think he was worth the 11th overall pick if he tries and gets better.
In my opinion, I think Bami went a little bit too high. I think the Huskies could have definitely gotten away with picking him way later. I didn't pick him because I know that he's really close with Youppi, and I know that like they have a really strong connection. I didn't want that reliability to like fall into like I guess Youppi's hands of whether he plays games or not. Because he doesn't really show up. He didn't really show up that much in IMHL unless Youppi told him to. So I didn't want to have to like have that unreliability. But I think Bami could have gone a little bit later in the draft than 11th. I think they probably could have gotten away with picking Blaney at 11 instead of like basically switch those two picks, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. It was probably a panic pick that we wanted to take him early because we were just worried. Because if we hadn't gotten Botmy, we weren't sure who our goalie would have been. Because that was our really only, that was our only chance of getting a possibly elite goalie, in our opinion. So
Totally fair. So
we just didn't want to risk it. Because if he was taken, we wouldn't have had a top goalie. Like, he's not even a top goalie yet, but we think he has the potential to become one.
Yeah, I agree. I actually was scrimming. Maybe I think it was a good hour before the draft, and Botany was definitely showed a lot of upside. He was making good pings. Yeah, he let in pity goals, but when your first time playing, that's just gonna happen. You just have to look at the upside and the saves they make. A lot of things that go with goalie is the shifting and the 5-hole. That just comes with time. But like the pinging and stuff like that, that's just natural skill.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't think it was a reach at all because I actually wanted to draft him at 7. I was actually convincing Karma to do it, but then I was like, nah, we need that 4th player on our team, so we took Mdravel. If he was dropping at 13, we would have taken him. I'll tell you that.
All right. Good thing I took him then.
Okay, so with the 12th, we're on 12. We're on 12. With the 12th overall selection, I'm pretty sure it was if I'm not mistaken, the Whalers.
Yeah.
They took W5K, which is an obvious pick, and he's a really good player in my opinion. He has a lot of upside. He trolls a little bit, but honestly not that much as he needs to. He's a very good forward, and
He's a defenseman, Brandon.
he's a defense. I believe he's gonna play
He's a
forward.
forward. He's a forward. Don't listen to whoever said that.
He was definitely listed as a defenseman, bro.
Wait, who? I wouldn't say
W5K.
that. Oh, W5K. No, he's a forward.
What? Oh,
I'm
that's
pretty sure
wrong.
he's a
That
forward,
was-
Our
yeah.
that was-
entire team is forwards.
that
Like
was-
literally.
It was wrong on the sheet then.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he's a very good forward, and I feel like at number 12, I feel like the only team he would have played for is the Whalers, but at number 12, still very good value.
Yeah, he's forward on the sheet. Whalers actually have no defensemen on their
Yep,
roster.
I literally said that. We literally have no defensemen.
nice, bro.
It's planned. It's planned.
Calculated.
The best defense sometimes is offense. So like, you know what I mean?
So Seattle has all the defense. Hartford has all the
Okay.
offense.
All right, so back on the W5K pick, what do you guys think?
He wouldn't have played for anyone else, so I'm pretty sure that's why no one else drafted him. but he's still a good player nonetheless.
I still think that's the range he belonged in, though, regardless of who he would have played for anyway. I think that was a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now with the Houston Bandits, they took at number 13. They took E the D99. He was originally signed up as a goalie, but Chokington is the goalie, so I think he's gonna play defense.
I can explain on this pick. So, Berto messaged Eva D if he would play defense, and he said he would. So, we kind of needed a shutdown defenseman after we couldn't get obtuse. Shutdown / offensive. So, I think Eva D fit, and I believe he should have belonged in that range.
No, I agree. I'll explain
He's a
why.
very good defenseman.
So, obviously, me and Brandon played with him for. Brandon only played with him for 1 season, but I played with him for I think 2. I think I played with him 2 seasons. Back in the old BHL, and I have a pretty close bond with him. I think he trained me how to be like a defenseman, and I think he's pretty underrated because he's probably one of the smartest players, like non-skill wise, like just like awareness on the ice and like where to position yourself. So, because he told me like where to stand, and I think it's a really good pick for the Bandits. Even though he was listed as a goalie at first, I don't think that's where he would have belonged. I think he should have played defenseman anyways. So I'm glad he is, because I think that's where like he's his strongest. So I think a really good value pick for the Bandits. Obviously people like say like that he's like bad, but I disagree with that. But people say he's bad, but like you know what I'm saying, like like not like the best or anything.
He's good in my opinion.
He's good in my opinion, but like I think he's strongest in his like mental game, I guess, or like his strategy, I guess. So yeah, good pick for the Bandits in my opinion.
Yeah.
So moving on to the 14th pick, the Fort Worth Jets picked Mighty Hen, which to me this was kind of early for him. I think he should have gone maybe towards the 20 to 23 range.
This was the thing with the Mighty Hen pick. We didn't have a goalie, and it was coming down to Neiman or Mighty. But the thing we saw with Mighty is he is more consistent in his saves, more than Neiman. Neiman does let some slight little ones go in, and we really want to win now because this is we're probably just a one team. We're only going to be competitive for 1 season, and it's probably going to be this season.
I mean, I heard rumors that Ginger was going to play goalie, so that pick kind of was weird to me because I thought Ginger was going to be your goalie. But, I mean, it's not a terrible pick in my opinion. You guys needed a goalie. Same boat as me. Picked the goalie maybe a little early just to make sure you got him. So,
Yeah.
understandable.
I think it's pretty good value for the Jets. I don't see many out of place things here, so I think Mighty's kind of in that range, I guess, because goalies I think are, in my opinion, are higher value now because there's less of them, less good ones. So yeah.
Nice. With the next overall pick, the 15th overall pick, the Hartford Whalers took Finn Hawk or Ace Craven. This was a reach, in my opinion.
Yeah, very early.
Yeah,
He
big reach.
He played all right in the World Cup, but not 15th overall. Good. He didn't know how to stop 5-hole shots. He made a few decent saves, just like based on positioning. Other than that, I wouldn't call him a 15th overall goalie. So,
Well, the problem was that, well, Finn wants to be with his friends. That's the first thing. But obviously, B, I'm not gonna make most of the games this season, so we needed a good backup goalie that I could train and definitely who could like also play forward as well, because Finn is also actually a really good forward if you've seen him play forward as well. So he's kind of he's not like a 1D player. He's kind of like he's got multiple assets to his game as well. So I feel like that was necessary for us to take him that early, just to ensure we had like a backup.
understandable.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's early, but I feel like you could have easily got him in the 30th range. No one was taking him.
Yeah, no one was gonna pick him, so I think you could have gotten away with picking him a little bit later.
Yeah, I feel like
It's probably
we could have
this
done that, but
But it's not unreasonable for you to like pick him where you did, so I don't really blame you. So,
All right,
I think
and that will.
we're gonna stop there because there's 50 picks in the draft, and we're obviously not gonna cover all of them. So,
nah, let's cover every single one. We'll be here until like 8 o'clock. Let's go.
literally, it's already 40 minutes long, and we
It's
only
gonna
talk
be
about
longer than the draft
things.
itself. Let's
Are
go.
we gonna talk about the first preseason game, or are we gonna save that?
We're going. We'll save it to the end of
should save
preseason.
that.
Okay.
I think you save it till next podcast. To be
Yeah.
honest.
So now we're gonna go into draft steals, like who we think was a steal in the draft. So
I think everyone should give their top 3. I think that's the first way.
okay.
All right, who's gonna go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
I think at number 3, I'd have to say Sambros at 28.
Yo, let's go.
And then number 2, I'd say Rojo. I guess he can play really good, but I think the biggest steal was Robe at 45.
I didn't think
I can
anyone else
agree.
would play. I think he'd play for anyone else because he was pretty inactive in IMHL. So that's why I think most people kind of passed up on him. But yeah, he's still a really good forward. He played really good on the Scorch back in old BHL. So.
All right, here's my top 3. I think I'll be going next. So at number 3, kind of a shocking one, but I think it's Emderville. I feel like he's gonna be better than some people think. At number 2, I have Rojo Guapo, number 37, and at number 1, I also have Robe. I think the Whalers people told me he was taken, and they lied straight to my face. A pick before them. And I was
tough. That's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. And
I
then
don't know
as
why
soon
you guys
as I
didn't
made the pick,
take him.
because I thought he was taken already.
Oh my god, this clown!
And even when I asked, Youppi
I literally
said yes.
tried to
But
trade up for him.
You did. You never asked me about Robe.
no, you said he was available, and then
Yeah.
the Whalers fans were just spamming in chat saying no, we took him.
Oh,
Yeah, if you don't realize, this is
You
our
got-
Whalers all about
yeah.
all the
They got you with the
freaking
mind
people
games.
Facts.
So yeah, that's my top 3.
All right. I think
All right. Okay.
At number 3 for me is where was it? Nukin. Even though it's my pick, I still think I'm surprised he kind of dropped that far. I thought the Huskies would have taken him. For second, actually Erogan at 21. I actually wanted to pick Erogan, and I think he's pretty underrated because he played really well in the combine and in other scrimmages. So I think he's gonna actually be a pretty good defenseman. So good pick on the Huskies. And at first, I had Blaney at 20. Blaney underscore. I think he was
Yeah.
a really good steal for the Huskies.
All right. I can go next, I guess.
All right.
So let me just make sure I got my picks. At number 3, I think I'm gonna have Robe. You can't really not have Robe on this 45. Good player. At number 2, I have another Whaler with Sammy the Whale. 25. Very good player and has a high upside if he just learns how to actually finish instead of stick handling for a minute and not getting anything done with it. Because he can stick handle around anybody. It's just it gets to the point where he's doing it too much and it's really hard to stop it. I mean, it's really easy to just stand there and watch him do his thing and then stop him when he finally gets to you. So that's my only issue with him. And I think for number 1, it would have to be a tie between Blaney and Nick, both Huskies picks, because I got Nick at 30, which I think was a really good pick for him because he played very good on Hartford. And Blaney played really good in the scrimmage that we had against the Jets. He crossed Brandon up so bad he had a whole zone on him on that breakaway. So I think that says enough about how good Blaney is. He also played really good in the MIHF. Didn't expect him to be available at 20. So
I didn't pick him because I thought he was gonna be inactive because old BHL
Yeah,
and then
Nick is.
IMHL.
I don't know about Nick being a steal, to be honest, because Nick was very inactive as a Whaler.
I
Somehow
do
made
think
All-Star game playing 2 games,
I think that
which
if he is active, he'll be a steal. That's why I didn't make him this distinct number one.
yeah,
It depends on his activity.
Yeah.
Because he did show up to a scrim with us against the Jets. So if he's willing to show up to scrims, I bet he'll be willing to show up to games.
yep, maybe.
I
We'll
just
see.
hope Blaney stays active because if he does, he's like one of those players that if they're active, they're gonna be really good. So
All right, I'll do my top 3. I think we've almost heard all of them except one.
Yep.
Number 3, I got Tart, 29. Even though he's been traded to the Huskies, I still think he was a very solid goaltender in the MIHF, and going that low was kind of surprising for me. Like he was pretty low in the draft rankings, but I feel like he did very well World Cup. Number 2, Blaney, like you guys said. Obviously, I think he was a steal at 20. And then number 1, I got to go Robe. Kind of biased, but I feel like Robe should not be going at 45. That's way too low for him. So I feel like he could be a possible like second line or major player at points. So we'll see what happens, but I feel like that's way too low for him.
all right, well, pretty good rankings all around, I'd say. Now we'll go into any free agency stuff because free agency opened the day after. So we all had gaps on our team still to fill. So, or at least most of us did, besides like Choke. But
Yeah, I didn't fill any gaps either.
Oh.
I was capped after the draft.
because you guys had the most picks. So I guess we'll start for when it opened up for agency, which was
So
Huskies.
the 14th.
No, 14th wasn't free agency.
15th. 15th was free agency.
Okay.
What's your pick, Youppi?
So basically, we signed my boy Goldens. He went undrafted. He has very high upside, along with, I think, Botme. Both play Minecraft pretty competitively. They both have a very good raw skill. Both could do very well. Only issue with Goldens and why I didn't draft him is because of his time zone. It's a yikes. He lives in the Middle East, so I don't know if he's going to be able to make a lot of our games, but I'm willing to take the risk and sign him. And if he does try and get better, then I think he could become a very good player eventually.
Next, me and Lynch, the Golden Eagles signed Magic Stick and Keone. I think they're both actually pretty underrated. And they're active as well as they want to learn to get better. So I think it's a pretty good pick for the minor league. And so we can develop them pretty easily. So I think it was a good pickup for us. Next, it was the Bandits. Joke.
Okay. So the reason why I released Woe Sniper, Berto told me he was in the draft, and I picked him,
He
and I
was.
guess he never signed up.
No, he did,
oh,
but
he
then he
did?
left. But no one.
Then he left, so that's why I released him. But we were also stuck in a cap situation, so I kind of had to release somebody. And then right after that, I signed the Jet for 1 season. I was originally trying to draft him maybe later, but I didn't realize the picks because I was still trying to get some players, which I didn't end up getting, but it's whatever. And then, yeah, so Alfresco has a lot.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really do anything picking up anybody, but I basically re-signed like almost my entire team. I think that I extended W5K for 3 seasons. I extended A for 3 seasons. I extended Pluto for 3 seasons. I extended Fin Hockey so they're all locked up basically at this point. I literally don't see a problem with it at all. It's kind of a steal too because they're on 2-way. Some of them are on 2-way contracts as well.
Right.
Kind of helps out the cap situation a little bit. In the future, obviously. And then
Forward.
a lot of transactions like suspensions wise. That's free agency though.
Next is the Jets. I'll just go ahead and say it because Comrade isn't here. So they appointed Blazy as their captain and Ginger and Brandon as alternate captains, and then Rojo will captain the Voyagers. But I don't know if that's actually true anymore since Rojo is now going to be in the majors. So I think they might have to appoint someone else for the Voyagers. So Brandon, you want to comment anything on that?
Yes. Yeah, Rojo is going to be playing in the majors. So I don't. To be honest, we probably won't even have a captain or anything for that for minors. We don't even know our minors team. We're giving everyone a fair shot to make the majors, but we have a couple players already locked up in the majors because in our Discord, if you make the majors, you get the role. And so far, there's 4 people with that role, and we're doing 6 people in the majors. So 2 more spots will be locked up depending on these 2 preseason games.
All right, cool.
So I had the next, I guess, transaction. The Bandits decided on Berto as captain and Flashee as Jam as alternate captains. I mean, I was gonna make myself an alternate, but I drafted Flashee, Jam, so they're all massively experienced players, so that's why I gave it to them. And Youppi has the next 2.
Oh wait, what are the next 2? Oh, I appointed Jets as captain and Akuzo and me as alternate captains. Not really much to say about that. And then me and Houston made a trade. I sent 28K to Houston in exchange for Tardis. If you guys would like to give your opinion on that.
Pretty good trade, my opinion. Tardis is pretty underrated, so I don't know why. I guess he's a minor league goalie for them. I don't really because they already have.
I think he's playing majors.
They already have Botme though. They said as their major league goalie. So, I don't know where he's playing on that team, but
we don't know either. We'll figure that out.
Figure that out after you made the trade. Nice.
Well, we just wanted options, and we wanted to take advantage because we didn't know if Chokington was going to be willing to make the trade the next day, if he was still going to do it. So,
all right.
I traded him because I already had a minor league goalie and a major league goalie, major being me, minor being Meemner. So there was really no point in us having Tardis.
So, actually, probably a fair trade for both teams. I don't really see a winner here. Then I appointed myself as captain and Lynch's and Ram as alternate captains. So I mean, Ram's a goalie, but I don't see any problem in him being an alternate. He's been here for a while, and he's actually a good presence to have on your team. So, yeah, nothing really too important there. But yeah, next is Hartford. So Al.
Yeah, I didn't make this decision, but Oil appointed me as a head captain, and he appointed himself as an alternate as well as W5K. Appointing me as captain, I kind of I guess I take the most leadership on my team. I guess out of everybody, kind of makes sense. Oil, obviously, he's the owner. He's been a long time Whaler as well as 5K. They've both been long time Whalers, so I feel like it was definitely the right choice to go with the experience on the team and loyalty.
Right. Brandon.
Yeah.
Your team's next. You have a signing.
Oh, we have a signing? What? Who do we sign?
Oh my God, this kid.
All right, I'll do it for him. The Jets signed.
Dump and Chase Heike.
Hockey.
My God.
Oh my God! Nah, get this kid out. Is this kid GM? Fire him right now.
No. Okay. I gotta be honest. I don't even really know him at all.
He played on the.
What a great
Muskies.
GM, guys.
I'm not even a GM.
He's not even the GM, bro.
Oh, he's not. Who's the
Yeah.
GM?
Blazy.
Oh, it's Blazy. I'm so
No,
dumb.
Blazy is not. I thought Ginger was a GM still.
Blaze.
Yeah, Ginger's
Blaze-
a GM. Everyone still thinks Blaze is a GM, but he's not. He's just
Blazy
a
has the GM role.
So does Ginger. So did he even appoint Blazy?
No, he never appointed Blazy as
Yeah,
GM.
everyone clowning right now. Ginger's the GM. Blaze just
All right.
But
Seattle's next.
so we signed Exonaut 75, who's Akuzo's big brother. Now, I think this is a great signing. For one, he has the name Exonaut, therefore that's an automatic cup win in my book. Two, he wants to grind a lot and he wants to practice and he's constantly working to get better. So I think it's a pretty obvious choice. We gave him a tryout in one of our scrimmages with I think the Jets, and he played really well and he's continued to get better. So great pickup for us, and I think he's gonna probably be in the major leagues pretty soon. And he's pretty motivated too. And after that, we signed Akabana. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Aki, I guess. Which is Exonaut's friend. And we gave them both. She played as well in the scrimmage, and she did really well and stuff. So they're both active, and they both want to get better. So a great prospect pickup for us. Okay, Houston's next.
All right. So I appointed Flashee as general manager. I just needed some help in the front office with trading, and I think he's very experienced, and I offered him the job, so he just took it. Don't have a problem with that.
I think that pretty much ends free agency, minus all the suspensions, but that's not really what we're talking about. So, that's it for free agency. But I think before we all go, because we're getting kind of tight on time, do all the teams kind of want to talk about their strategy in building their team, like what kind of they were going for? Because now that the draft's over and everything, like you can reveal what your plan was for your team. So
sure.
Choke, you want to go first?
Yeah. Okay, so originally I was trying to draft Emderville at 8, obviously if he was available. I knew he wasn't going to extend. He was probably going to leave, so it would have been a pure rental for him. There were a few players that I would have liked to steal later, but they were taken picks before mine, a few picks before mine. So,
right.
I couldn't really do anything about that. I think I got the team that will be competitive and has a chance at playoffs.
I agree.
Second place.
Second place in my book, or third place, second or third.
Second or third, yeah.
Let's say you guys went first.
Can I do my draft strategy?
Yeah.
All right, so my draft strategy was to wait in the draft hall, being kind of patient, and get drafted.
Shut up, Brandon. Someone get out of the voice chat right now.
It
Disconnect.
Disconnect.
That was a pretty good strategy, if you ask me.
Nice.
All right.
Hilarious, Brandon.
All right, Youppi, you go.
All right. Well, basically, we get first overall, so we got the first pick. Could do whatever we wanted with that. Obviously, we were going to pick Exo. I don't think anyone expected us to pick someone else.
If you did,
I expected a clown move incoming.
Yeah.
Only other person we would have considered at all was Ram, because best goalie in the league by far, in my opinion. Sorry, Chokington. But
obviously
L.
the best goalie. You can't.
Well,
we
picked Exo, and then from there, it was just trying to build around our players that we already had and try to get a goalie. That's where Botmy came in. Pike was going to be our second line forward. We just needed a forward that can play decent with Exo, and Exo will probably carry that line. And then from there, we were just trying to get value. So if we ever needed to make a trade, we could. Immediately after the draft, I tried to trade with Ginger and get Emderville, and then I got shut down, unfortunately. But I tried my best. My negotiating skills were not on point that day, so couldn't get the job done. But I think we have a good team. We have a lot of value. For some reason, everyone thinks we're the easy pick for winning the league, which I'm not going to complain, but I still think that we're going to have to actually try this season if you want to win.
Cap. You're usually going to win by snapping his fingers, man.
There's a lot of but the teams are a lot more balanced,
There's
and
a
I
lot
think
There's a lot of teams that we're somewhat worried about, especially like the Bandits. Bandits have a very good offense, depending on how much better Jam can get before the season starts.
Jam's been
If he-
practicing a lot.
Yeah, he's on
lately.
right now, 1v1ing Blazy. So
The brothers.
the brothers. He told me to leave because he was losing to Blazy. So
Oh,
Retire. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Um,
I'm just saying that kind of helps my team. Like,
yeah, not gonna lie. I mean, Jam at second is if he gets back to his old self, it will be a good pick. But right now, I'd say Ram was a better pick, and Chokington should just play out. I think
No, that's a terrible
W.
idea. That is one of the.
No.
That's a great idea.
Chokington's a goated forward. Anyway,
I like this guy.
Chokington as forward is like a chicken running around with its head off, man.
kind of true.
That's disrespectful.
Anyway, all jokes aside, I think the Bandits are probably our biggest worry this season, just because of how many good players they have. People saying that we're just the same team from IMHL are capping. We don't have our captain Lynchier, who was our best player, obviously. So that makes the Golden Eagles a threat. They've got the Mexican on their team.
I'll go into my strategy in a second. Unless Alfresco wants to go first. Talk about his strategy going to the draft.
Me?
Yeah.
The draft strategy is literally what happened. So I mean, there's not a lot of explanation there.
Draft as many
went-
MCHL players as you can.
Yeah, basically the draft was to get everybody. Team South Africa, pretty obvious there. Plus a couple others that, would help us along our run in the minor leagues, trying to push for a championship there as well. But even if I had time to go back, even after the bans and suspensions, if I would have gone back and done it again, I would have done the same exact thing. So
the only issue with you saying you want to win the minor, because I'm looking at your roster and you have a whole 2 players down there.
nah, don't even worry, we got it covered. Relax.
Still
You gotta have some plans for that, my man.
Nah, we got a 2v3 the entire league.
I do
and
not
still
think
win.
Ludo and TK are gonna destroy the minor league like you're expecting them to.
Yeah.
No, I think
the
we're
next
gonna
junior
bring in some
Huskies. The next
few
junior
ringers.
Huskies.
Yeah, next junior Huskies that are gonna walk the league and win every game 10-zip.
Nah, it's not gonna be funny when Youppi decides to send himself down as GM.
I can't anymore, Alfred. So. They made me a 4-star. I should still be a 2-star, but it's okay.
Everybody gangsta till Youppi scores 15 goals in one game.
Okay, to my defense in this game is I wouldn't try to score. I just wanted to get my teammates goals.
Yeah, sure. And then as he says that, he takes the puck up and dangles 5 people.
I would score 1 goal in the game, score the first goal within 10 seconds,
You'd
and
be
I
the
would
type
just
of guy.
I mean, you could have scored on your own goal. That could have been an option.
You'd be the type of guy to say he's gonna play defense.
Yo, cut the stream.
Shut up.
What?
Okay,
Is
anyways.
Brandon trolling still?
We should server mute this kid.
Yeah.
Let me say
get this
my
kid out.
strategy now.
Can we ban him right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Toxicity.
the
For real.
TJ say your
BHL
strategy.
strives to be a non-toxic community.
Shut up.
Okay, go
Okay,
TJ.
anyways, so obviously having me and Lynch, I'd say Lynch is probably the best prospect developer in the league. So that's why we went with such a young team, because he owned the Hornets and he trained people like Exonaut or Ekuzo and Jam and Blackus, who are arguably some of the best players in the BHL. So he was confident that going with a young team with kind of a lot of I guess I don't know what I'm saying, young guns, I guess is the word I was looking for. And we think that we can develop those players into be a really competitive team. So plus with a veteran presence of Ram and myself and Lynch around, I think that'll kind of help to keep the team together. So
Dang, you're just not gonna mention Obtuse. Okay.
Obtuse is not a veteran, bro.
Obtuse isn't a veteran, but he's still you're probably a top 3 player on your team.
Yeah,
Easy.
I was saying veteran presence, not top 3
I
presence.
don't know about top 3 considering it's
I mean,
Lynch and then Ram.
I mean,
But
Obtuse is probably the best defensive defenseman in the league. Whoa, hot take.
Yeah, that is a
But
hot
it's
take.
kind-
or
it's
or a
kinda
cold
true.
take. Cold, get it? Okay, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, please.
Kick me
I
in the
guess
Anyway.
chat
Akuzo
right
has
now.
left the chat with the best defenseman.
He's not pure
He's-
defense.
Yeah, he's not pure defense.
I'm talking about pure defensive defenseman. Don't think anybody is on Obtuse's level with that.
No, I think
I mean,
Exonaut
no one
when he
can get
sits at the
past
blue
X, so,
line, man.
like, you
I
can
can't-
get past Obtuse. You cannot get past X.
I don't. I have a hard time getting past Obtuse. I have an easier time getting past
Because he
Exo.
knows how to counter you. Like,
Obtuse-
quickly.
But Obtuse
Obtuse
learns how to
counters
counter
Youppi.
people. Yeah, Obtuse learns how to counter people. That's what he does. That's why he's so good. He like actually pays attention.
So, anyways,
Okay.
yeah, this more enforces my point. So, yeah, I think people are gonna doubt us because we don't have like many veterans or like people like Berto or Jam on our team, but that's fine in my book. So, yeah,
What do you mean you have no veterans? That's cap.
we have 3.
Rim So Sig has left the chat.
Oh my god, y'all are clowning, bro. I just talked about
Rams
this.
retiring. Rip.
Hey, don't talk about that right now. Okay. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this Coldtake podcast on BSN. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like, share, follow our Instagram in the description. All the team Instagrams are down there. And join the Discord if you want to join the league. So it's also a link in the description. So thanks for tuning in and take care.